Welcome back to King Narai. Today we're going to be discussing my guide on the perfect loadout in Minecraft as of 1.21. In 1.20, this used to be my loadout here. See, you would have a maxed out sword, maxed out netherite, shield slash totem, of course, maxed out sword, bow. You'd have your axe there for shields, so you can break those, and then you also have your pickaxe, your water bucket. These two are pretty free. You can put whatever you want in there. And then you would have your fireworks, elytra slash chest piece, and then your food. As of 1.21, however, this is no longer optimal. It rains every time I try to make a video. Oh my goodness. Anyway, first things first, why it's not optimal. I find that switching this is better because most of the time you're going to be on your sword or your weapon, and then you might eat, but then you're most of the time using your fireworks. To have to make that extra swap before getting around, it's kind of wasted momentum. Because you get there, you switch, and then you're probably just going to stick to those three. Anyway, now, other than that, to start fresh, of course, here you want a shield slash totem. That's non-negotiable. Can't really put anything else there. Maybe a map, but you get the point of the offhand. But first things first, your armor. 1.20, definitely maxed out netherite armor, but that's no longer the go-to, and here's why. See the wind charges there. This is the biggest weapon in the game. We'll get to that in a second. But let's say we have full netherite armor on, right? And we try to use a wind charge to get up somewhere. That's as high as we can get. Right there. Not really going to help you get up to where you need to get to. However, if you wear full diamond, a quite considerable increase. Now you might be like, King, what are you talking about? You're giving up a lot of armor just to be able to jump higher. What's the importance on that? Well, I don't just use wind charges for fun. Instead, I use them for war. And more specifically, daggone chest was empty. Anyway, the mace. Depending on how high you come down from is the more damage you'll deal with the mace. So, coming from all the way up here, coming from all the way up here compared to from simply right here is going to be a game changer. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but if you are not a fan of the mace or the wind charge mace swap, then go for maxed out netherite armor. That's going to help you with a lot of protection. However, that is the best weapon in the game. There's no PvP set right now that's not using a mace that's efficient, so in that sense I would highly suggest you just go with the maxed out diamond armor. It's not as good, of course, but it's just as good, if you get what I'm saying. Anyway, great, we've chosen our armor. Now what? Well, now we get to weapons. You see, our very first slot, that should be your weapons choice. However, I don't find it efficient to carry both a sword and a mace now that you need, or not a sword and a mace, but a sword and an axe now that you additionally need a slot for the wind charge and then the mace itself. So the whole thing of holding an axe is that it breaks shields. If you're playing a person with a shield and you're using a sword against them, it's very annoying. It's easy to counter, to like go behind them, but if you're working with me and your phone freezes every daggone second, then that's not really good, and it's very easy to counter if you have a shield. If you're a good player and you have a shield, most of the time you should win if it's a fair fight. But yeah, the argument for the sword, though, is that we have sharpness 5, but an axe has sharpness 5. But you get your looting and your fire aspect as well. So you get looting on mobs, and then you also get to burn your enemies alive and watch them cook, which also deals a little bit extra damage. However, if you're fighting a person who has any common sense, they're probably going to pop a golden apple, maybe enchanted golden apple, and the fire is not really going to do anything for you. So I don't find the sword to be that important. It's good. Like, if you're just around the world, like in Trial by Flight right now, I'm not really fighting players. But if you're just in a world and you need the looting, then go ahead. I just have looting on an iron sword because it comes from a villager. That's all I would do. But if you're really trying to be the best in a server and be prepared at any moment, I say your first slot has to be the sharpness 5, efficiency 5, of course, mending and unbreaking. You could put those on both of them. But you want to have that axe. Next up, now that you got your first slot, your weapon, we now want to talk about your ranged weapon, because that's a pretty important weapon swap there. You got your primary, and then you got your ranged. Of course, bow or crossbow. Well, in 1.21, there are these special things called arrows. But not just any arrows, arrows of slowness 4 and sanity. Now, you might have your own preference for crossbow or bow, but I do bow personally because of power 5. It deals so much more damage, and while you can get the multi-shot to hit them, you have to be very close, and the effectiveness of the slowness doesn't really affect them as efficiently. And I just like the bow. I like shooting stuff and them dying and not having to have a super great arrow to get the job done. You know what I mean? Like damage 2, I can kill pretty much any mob with the crossbow, but with the bow, I can just use a regular arrow and kill pretty much any entity, like regular spawning entity. Combine that with flame and a stack of these bad boys, and you're in good shape. The flame, which may or may not do anything depending on if you're fighting a smart player or not, but yeah, that's why I like that. Alright, there goes slot 1 and 2, slot 3 and 4, a stack of wind charges and your mace. You're going to be sword fighting if they have an axe. You got your ranged weapon after. But then your next swap should be to your wind charge mace attack. Oh, that was bad. Your wind charge mace attack. Look at that. Imagine that in netherite armor. You'd get nowhere. But yeah, somebody's rushing you. You're probably going to hit them with the axe. But it's a good swap to keep it right here. You could put it at the end, but I kind of keep my food there. It's less efficient that way, but you could have it. I mean, either way, you still have to cycle through it the same amount of time, so I just have it here, and then... Oh, I am selling. There we go. Oh. Oh, I'm lagging. Okay. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't gimmicky. It definitely is gimmicky, however, it's an essential. Combine that with Fire Aspect 2, Breach 4, and Windburst 3, and you just do not want to get hit by this thing. Make sure you have Feather Falling, though. Make sure you have Feather Falling. There's slots 1 through 4, and this is going to take some getting used to, but slot 5, your maxed out pickaxe. Gotta have a pickaxe in your loadout. I mean, there's no negotiating that. On to the next one. Your 2 free slots. I mean, you can do whatever you want. If you're fighting someone, though, you know, these two work really well if you're fighting someone. But we'll come back to that in a second, so we can actually fill it in as the last 2. Moving on to the last 2 in your hotbar. Let's see. We got Elytra and Fireworks. Oh boy, I've terribly miscalculated. You actually have 1 free slot. Ah, okay, that changes things. Anyway, yep, Elytra slash Firework. Remember what I said? Fireworks here, Elytra there. Then, of course, you need your food in your hotbar as well. Non-negotiable. And boom, that's what we're working with. So with that being said, having 1 hotbar slot open, if you are fighting someone, you'd have to sacrifice your pickaxe. You'd have to if you want to have 2 slots for your end crystal and obsidian. If not, though, you want to carry a potion, you're good. Want to carry ender pearls, you're good. Want to carry anything in 1 slot. Water bucket, some blocks, doesn't matter. You're good for that. But naturally on standby, if I'm not working on a project and I'm just kind of walking around the world being like unbeatable, I'd probably rock this. Just because it helps me get to those hard to reach places. Anyway, so there you have it. This is my optimized hotbar for Minecraft. You can have your axe here so you can break shields. Your bow, diamond armor, not netherite armor. Wind charge, mace, non-negotiable. Pickaxe, you can interchange that, but you do need it at most of the time. Your free slot, do what you do. Elytra slash chest piece, got to be able to swap that pretty fast. And fireworks and food. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Share with me your hotbar slots, because I've seen some crazy ones. I used to be like avidly pissed watching Grain play because of how he had his loadout. It's like so unorganized, and then he'll use certain things that, like, he'll break grass with his pickaxe. And I'm like, I know you have mending and I'm breaking, but it's so cringe. But anyway, share with me what you got. Tell me how you like this one, and This is how I run, so tell me, can you counter it?